Hi, I'm Tim Fryar, pastor of Christ Center Church, and you're watching Christ Center TV on YouTube. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for spending some time with us. This broadcast is about 15 minutes and it's designed to be a blessing to you. It'd be great to be able to use this for your morning devotion or maybe evening time or even on your lunch break. Send this message out to some people, some friends that you may have, some of your friends on Facebook or on Twitter. Let them know that you need to hear this message. So send the link, send the email, and let them know that the word of the Lord is coming forth on Christ Center TV. We're going to go over to the sanctuary to hear the message that's coming forth. Be ready to receive what the Lord is saying to you. Get your pen and your paper, your Bible, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever you take notes with. Get ready to receive from the Lord, and I'll be back at the end of this message.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that? You know, people always say fake it till you make it. Here's the problem with that. The problem with looking like God, but having no power, with a stranger that doesn't know God, does not ever have contact with a Christian with power, comes up to me, and I look like God, and I look like I should have power, grab that please, and I need some stuff to change in my life, squeeze it, nothing happens. What then must he do? But say, forget this. This doesn't work.
Wow.
But I look like God. And depending on who he runs into, he could run into power or none. Jesus says, my issue is I'm leaving. And I want to leave power, the same power I got, so you can do what I did and even more. But now we got to play Russian roulette with who he's going to get. We got to roll the dice because all of us look the same. But if he rolls up with one with no power, I don't want to go this route anymore. Give me some pliers. Just give me a hammer. And a hammer trying to drive a screw will destroy something.
Yes, indeed.
Only because the first thing he grabbed had no power. Thank you, sir. So, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I mean, after all, someone's been saved for a long time. And we used to get mad when people talk bad about the church. As a matter of fact, when we was watching Saturday night, like the comedy shows and stuff, when they used to make Jesus jokes, you used to get mad and say, oh, I can't even watch that. Now you just chuckle in yourself and keep watching. That's because we watered down.
That is great, Pastor. Wow. That's right.
You used to tell people, hey, you can't talk like that around me. But we don't anymore because we watered down. Can I go and push the envelope a little bit? There was a forum that they had the other day on Marvelous Light. At Marvelous Light, they want to talk about why nobody stood up and helped. It's because our community is watered down. Because our grandparents and them would stand up and be like, hey, stop all that cussing. There'd be a grown person. And the grown person who was listening to your grandmama say, stop all that cussing, would stop.
Right.
We've become so watered down that, number one, nobody says anything. We stand in line with your little child and the person behind you on the phone just cussing up something and you want to be mad on the inside but never stop and say, hey, do you mind? We don't say nothing. Why? Because we don't want to get involved because we watered down. Because we're so scared now. I'm so scared about what they're going to say to me and what they're going to do to me. If you had power, you wouldn't be. I'm not talking about gun power. You see, our community is watered down. And we want to stand up in the African-American community about it takes a village. We ought to cut that foolishness out because we're the main ones that don't want to say nothing. I know I got that right because I got stopped in my neighborhood one night from a white guy that stopped me and said, hey, in our community, we slow down. I said, no kidding, I live right there. He said, oh, I'm sorry. We just been having people running through here. They've been driving so fast. And I wanted to be mad because he stopped me. But I should be stopping somebody. Because I hear them driving up and down my street fast, and I should be going out there saying, hey, 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 but I want to be comfortable. And the African-American community want to talk about we got connection, and I want to spend my money in our community. Why? Your community don't do nothing for you. Yeah. Let me just go and lay this out here. Because we want to act like we got some kind of connection and that we're doing something. We're not doing nothing. We don't help one another. We don't cover one another. We don't teach one another. We don't do anything. And we want to talk about keep it in the community. Why? I want to take it to somebody's community that's going to stand up and say, hey, slow down in my community, regardless of what color I am. Well, it just ain't got no power. Because you know why? We don't care about one another. We don't care. Even the Christian community, we don't care about one another. You'd rather go talk about somebody with bad breath than to pull them aside and say, hey, come here. Look at you. We can't get no talk right here. Because you will call somebody on the phone and say, did you smell so-and-so's breath? Opposed to say, come here. What's going on with you? Last 2 times we talked, your breath has been a little strong. What's going on? Are you drinking? Are you smoking? Or maybe you're not been feeling well. What's going on? Because it could be something that's bigger than just what's on the surface. But because we don't care and rather get a laugh, I'll call and say, did you smell that? No power. No power. Boy, I hope you're thinking good. We are. Yes. Because here's the deal. I'm sick of being connected to a church with no power. As a matter of fact, I'm sick of being connected with people with no power. I'm tired of people. I'm calling somebody and say, hey, this is what's going on with me. I need you to pray. And then nothing don't jump off in my life. Nothing changed. I'm sick of having people in my favorites list that ain't have no power. I'm tired of that. Because stuff that's jumping off, stuff that's jumping up around this church, I need some people that's going to pray. And not only going to pray, can get a prayer through, as the old saints will say. There's one thing for you to sit there and talk to God, but is your smoke filling the room and choking you on your own smoke? Or can it go through the ceiling and reach God and say, oh, I got your back. I got this. No power. You ought to be sick of having friends with no power. With all the hell breaking loose in your house, and you keep talking to your prayer partner, but don't nothing change. We don't pray no more. We Facebook too much to be praying. We tweet too much to be praying. Come on, y'all. How you pray? How? You don't have time. And the little time you do have, we Facebooking. Because you want to say what you got going on, what I'm doing. Oh, I'm sitting over here doing so and so and so. Now, let me ask you something. How did that benefit your life? That's right. Telling somebody else what you're doing. Why don't you tweet that I just had some time with God, and God's so powerful in my house right now, I need some of y'all to get off Facebook, come over here, and suck some of God up out of my house because I can't even sleep because he's so strong. Bet you wouldn't do that, would you? Tweet that. I'm somewhere in a closet with God. Don't hit me right now. We don't tweet foolishness like that, do we? No, because that's foolishness. But what ain't foolishness is I'm sitting there at a light and I'm watching a wino walk across the street. That's just dumb. That's dumb. How about tweeting that I saw a wino walking across the street? I got out of my car, took him in the store, bought him a pack of cigarettes, and we sat down and talked about Jesus all the way through my lunchtime. Talk about that. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you for the next 6 days to go after God's power. Next 6 days, I want to challenge you. I want the challenge to be that from tomorrow morning until Saturday night, midnight, that everything you do is focused on getting God's power in your life. Now, I'm not telling you what that looks like, because for some of you, it'll be fasting. For some of you, it'll be increasing your prayer time, reading a little bit more. For some of you, it'll be stop cussing. Stop doing stuff that you know displeases God. In other words, this is what the old saints would say: sanctify yourselves. For the next 6 days, I want you to sanctify yourselves. In other words, set yourself aside for God's use. Because here's my question. With all this coming to church, are you useful to God? And I would venture to say that without power, we're just as useless as this. I want to challenge you. Anybody that's willing to take this 6-day challenge, I want you to stand up. If you're not willing, I want you to sit in your seat. But if you are willing to go after God and pursue his power in your prayer time, in your reading, in your fasting, in your loving one another, in your doing kind deeds, in shutting your mouth, cutting off your computer, stop watching stuff you should not watch, stop listening to stuff that you know puts a wedge in between you and God. Anything in your life that you'd have to press mute, pause, or delete when God shows up, I want you for the next 6 days not to touch it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And go after God's power. Because if we get more people going after God's power, when stuff jumps off like this in the church community, it won't be a surprise to us. As a matter of fact, if we go after God's power, we'll be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, God just dropped something in my spirit. You need to check this, this, and this. Yeah. The issue for me is not guilty or not guilty, yes or no. The issue is, who got power to make sure this never happens again? Who got power to get on the phone and pray somebody's marriage through?
Yes, Lord.
Who got power to pray for somebody's child that's struggling? Who got power to lay before God on behalf of a mother who just buried her son? Who got that kind of power? See, that kind of power takes discipline. To stay in the closet for a whole weekend and call on the name of God in favor or on behalf of somebody you don't even know.
Yes, indeed.
I want you to make the commitment to God. I want you to, no, you good. You make the commitment. You bow your head, you talk to God, and the stuff that you need to clean up and clean out so that you can have power. He's standing, waiting to give it to us. I need power, Lord, to speak to my own situation. Speak to my own health problems. Speak to my own lack of peace in the house, lack of peace internally. I need to be able to speak to not finding a job. Speak to lack of discipline and no self-control. Help us in Jesus' name. Amen.
I've learned through life experiences that regardless of where you are, what season of life you're in, the issues that may be facing you right now, that there's always a word from the Lord. And I trust the message that you just heard was a word in season for you. I'd like to invite you to Christ Center Church. We're at 6472 Church Street, downtown Douglasville, Georgia, about 20 minutes west of Atlanta. So come out, visit with us, experience our worship. It is off the chain. Come experience God with the Christ Center Church family. You can also visit us on the web at www.imchristcenter.org. That's www.imchristcenter.org. You can visit us on Facebook. That information is right there on the screen for you. So there are many ways that you can touch base and experience what's going on in the life of Christ Center Church. We exist to be a spirit-filled, multicultural, worshiping community, empowering people to replace a self-centered life with a Christ-centered life. I'm Pastor Tim. You're watching Christ Center TV on YouTube. I want you to be encouraged, and remember, be Christ-centered.